must also be resilient. Sustainable growth depends on our ability to anticipate, withstand, and recover from the shocks that increasingly shape our world today. And forward-looking too. We should strengthen our climate monitoring system, disaster preparedness, and early warning systems, while ensuring that the infrastructure we build today is resilient to the climate conditions of tomorrow. We must also develop more productive and climate-smart agricultural systems, expand regional food trade, and strengthen strategic reserves to supply our region. West Africa should speak with one voice in international climate negotiations, supported by incredible regional programs that attract finance and long-term investment. Health security demands the same result. The West Africa Health Organization has strengthened disease surveillance, scientific collaboration, and regional cooperation. We should build on that foundation by expanding local pharmaceutical manufacturing, harmonizing regulatory standards, and strengthening regional procurement to improve access to essential medicines and medical supplies. Ultimately, resilience is an investment in prosperity. A region that can protect its people from climate shocks, food insecurity, and public health emergencies is better equipped to sustain economic growth, preserve stability, and secure its future. Your Excellencies, all of these priorities lead to one fundamental question. Can our institutions deliver? Our decisions must be matched by clear responsibilities, adequate resources, realistic timelines, and measurable outcomes. I therefore propose again that the Commission submit an annual ECOWAS implementation report on our agreed strategic priorities, highlighting progress, obstacles, and the actions required to keep delivery on track. A public summary will strengthen transparency, reinforce accountability, and enable the people of West Africa to monitor the commitments made in their name. We must resist the temptation to multiply priorities without strengthening our capacity to deliver them. Our community must accomplish more by pursuing fewer priorities with greater discipline, continuity, and sustained commitment. Delivery is a shared responsibility. It depends on the Commission, member states, regional institutions, and the participation of citizens, the private sector, academia, and civil society. The future will not reward optimism unsupported by preparation. It will judge whether we strengthened our institutions, modernized our economy, and invested in our people before events narrowed our choices. Throughout these reflections, ladies and gentlemen, I have argued that foresight is an expression of sovereignty. It preserves our freedom to act before crisis diminishes it. Enable us to choose our partnerships, protect our interests, and shape our own future. The next 50 years of ECOWAS will not be defined by declarations we adopt, but by the results that we deliver to our people in this community. Our responsibility is to move from commitment to implementation, from policy to practice, and from ambition to measurable results. The success of our community must be measured by the distance we close between early warning and crisis prevention, between agreement and functioning markets, between natural resources and industrial transformation, and between the talents of our people and the opportunities available to them across West Africa. A region that plans together preserves its freedom to choose. A region that brings together strengthens every member state. A region that acts together secures a more peaceful, prosperous, and resilient future for all its people. That future will be shaped by the decisions we take, the partnerships we forge, and the commitments that we honor. It is the future that we must build together. Let us build it with vision. Let us build it with courage. Let us build it with the generations, for the generations that will follow us. Excellencies, I present for your reflection and adoption the draft compact of the future, which the Commission, through the consultative engagement with the communities, civil society organizations, diverse social groups, duly endorsed by the Joint Mediation and Security Council and the Executive Council. May God bless the people of West Africa. May God continue to bless this great organization, ECOWAS, and I thank you for your attention. Thank you very much. I want to use this opportunity to welcome into our fold, the democratic fold, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Leone. Let me also welcome the President of Benin, the young kid on the block, the most recently elected President of the Republic of Benin.
À l'exercice de la conférence des chefs d'État et de gouvernement de la communauté économique Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, d'État et de gouvernement, Messieurs le Président de la Commission de la CEDEAO, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, représentants des institutions de l'Union africaine et des nations, distingués invités en vos rangs, grade et qualité, et avec un profond sentiment de responsabilité, mais aussi de fraternité, que je prends la parole devant cette auguste assemblée dans la continuité des propos que que j'ai eu l'honneur de vous adresser lors de nos différentes rencontres. Ce que j'annonçais alors comme une conviction, je le reformule aujourd'hui comme un appel, celui du réalisme au service du bien-être de notre peuple. L'intégration africaine est la seule voie pour le développement et pour éviter les guerres entre nous. C'est de créer un grand marché commun ouest-africain pour le développement et la paix. Parce qu'il y a conscience que là où il y a le développement économique, il y a la paix. Et que ce n'est qu'ensemble que nous pouvons être forts et respectés pour faire face aux grands enjeux mondiaux. Ce n'est qu'il dit que nous pouvons peser. Notre survie, notre prospérité dépendent d'abord de notre capacité à rester ensemble unis. La division n'arrange que celui qui divise. Pas de place donc pour la division. Excellence, les sanctions ne sont pas la solution. Notre sous-région a plus souvent choisi la sanction comme premier réflexe quand elle devait être le dernier recours. Or, sans hypocrisie, l'expérience nous enseigne, avec confiance, sans exception, que la sanction n'est pouvoir. Elle frappe d'abord et surtout les enfants dans les salles de classe, les femmes dans les marchés, les hommes dans les champs et les ateliers. Elle prive les hôpitaux de médicaments de première nécessité. Elle vide les marchés des denrées indispensables. Elle suscite et alimente le trafic en tout genre. Elle pénalise simplement les filles et fils de la terre de nos ancêtres. Une communauté qui, pour corriger un État appauvrit un peuple, s'éloigne de l'esprit même qui a présidé à sa création. Nos traditions africaines n'intègrent pas le principe de l'exclusion de l'enfant, encore moins l'idée d'affamer et de combattre. La vision des pères fondateurs de notre communauté n'était ni punitive ni répressive, elle était avec une qualité que l'histoire n'a jamais démentie, celle d'un espace de prospérité partagée, où la libre circulation des biens, des personnes et des idées devaient rapprocher nos peuples plutôt que les isoler. C'est pourquoi je le dis avec le respect dû à cette assemblée, mais aussi avec la fermeté qui commande ma responsabilité de chef d'État, recentrons-nous sur l'essentiel. Faisons de l'économie, de l'investissement productif et du bien-être de nos populations le cœur battant de notre action commune. Une communauté forte n'est pas celle qui sait le mieux sanctionner les membres, c'est celle qui sait le mieux les faire prospérer ensemble. Excellence, nous devons adapter nos institutions à la réalité de notre époque. On ne soigne pas le paludisme et le cancer avec le même remède. Chaque mal appelle à son traitement. Chaque situation appelle sa réponse. Il n'y a pas de même pour nos nations. Chaque peuple porte une histoire, des équilibres et des urgences qui lui sont propres. Vouloir appliquer des réalités différentes, une seule et même ordonnance, aussi bien intentionnée soit-elle, ce n'est pas de la rigueur pour moi. C'est une méconnaissance sur la nature même de nos sociétés. nos explorateurs ont plus d'un demi-siècle. Le monde qu'ils décrivaient n'est plus tout à fait celui que nous vivons. Je le dis avec la conviction d'un homme d'État soucieux de la pérennité de la CEDEAO. Réformer nos institutions n'est pas affaiblir, c'est les inscrire dans la durée. Réformer nos institutions, c'est les adapter à nos valeurs, à nos réalités, à nos coutumes, à nos traditions séculaires. Réformer nos institutions, c'est prendre en compte nos réalités, nos spécificités. Si nous avons respecté la règle de l'intangibilité, des frontières héritées des accidents de l'histoire, nous ne devons peut-être pas oublier qu'elles n'effacent pas la réalité des implications. Les liens qui unissent toujours et à jamais le peuple, les frontières artificielles héritées de la colonisation les ont certes séparés, mais nous ne pouvons prendre la responsabilité de les diviser davantage, et plus grave, de les opposer, d'affamer les mêmes familles qui se trouvent de part et d'autre des frontières à s'affronter. Ça serait contraire à l'idée même qui a mené les pères fondateurs à créer cette communauté. Il nous faut des mécanismes qui distinguent la fermeté des principes de la rigidité des méthodes, qui reconnaissent la légitimité de chaque nation, déterminée jusqu'au dernier souffle, s'il le faut, à assurer le bien-être et la dignité de son peuple. C'est ça la boussole. C'est pourquoi, avec tout le respect que je dois à chacune et à chacun d'entre vous, je vous exhorte, Excellence, à un retour résolu aux fondamentaux, le développement pérenne et équitable. Le peuple n'attend pas de nous que les communiqués, il attend de nous des routes, des usines, de l'énergie, des marchés ouverts, des emplois pour leur jeunesse. C'est à cette exigence et à cette exigence seule que l'histoire jugera notre génération. Je vous invite également avec la même sincérité à engager la refondation de votre modèle de gouvernance vers davantage de participation. Une gouvernance qui associe nos peuples, notre jeunesse, nos opérateurs économiques et notre société civile à la définition même de notre destin commun. Une communauté ne se décrète pas depuis les seuls capitales. Elle se construit avec ceux qui la vivent chaque jour. Une communauté se construit avec tous les enfants sans exclusive, sans stigmatisation, sans instruction ni influence extérieure et sans exclusive. Le 28 mai 1975 à Lagos, il était 15 pères fondateurs à créer notre communauté qui, depuis plus d'un demi-siècle d'origine, 15 pères fondateurs parmi lesquels 10 militaires et 5 civils. Donc, l'écrasante majorité des fondateurs étaient issus de l'armée. Leur attachement à la paix et à l'unité n'a jamais été démenti. Les militaires sont une partie de nous. Ils ont consenti le sacrifice de leur vie pour préserver notre paix commune. Leur uniforme ne saurait donc constituer leur exclusion. La vie et la gestion de notre communauté ne sont ni plus ni moins que les enfants du peuple. Et notre Afrique, dans cette conception, ne constitue pas une exception. Excellence, la Guinée, fidèle à son histoire et à sa vocation panafricaine, se tient prêt à œuvrer aux côtés de chacun de ses pairs à la construction de cette communauté de prospérité partagée que nos dévanciers ont rêvé pour nous. Ce n'est pas en nous divisant par la sanction que nous honorerons leur mémoire. C'est en bâtissant ensemble, par le travail, la solidarité et la justice, l'Afrique de l'Ouest, forte, souveraine et prospère, à laquelle nos peuples ont droit. Avons-nous d'ailleurs vraiment le pouvoir de les diviser? Je ne pense pas. Eux qui, au fil des siècles, malgré les frontières artificielles, sont restés unis à travers leurs essences, leurs rites, leurs mouvements et leurs commerces. Je vous remercie de votre bienveillante attention.
De la République de Sierra Leone. Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres, Monsieur le Président de la Commission de la CEDEAO, Madame Amina Mohamed, Secrétaire générale adjoint de l'Organisation des Nations Unies, honorables invités, Mesdames et Messieurs. Je voudrais en premier lieu remercier mon frère et ami, son Excellence le Président Julius Maada Bio, ainsi que le peuple sierra-léonais frère, pour l'accueil chaleureux et l'hospitalité généreuse dont nous avons été l'objet, moi-même et la délégation qui m'accompagne. Le thème de notre sommet, le futur de l'intégration régionale en Afrique de l'Ouest, nous place au cœur du débat sur notre devenir collectif, au-delà des urgences conjoncturelles. Il nous appelle à réfléchir avec lucidité et ambition au fondement de la coopération régionale de demain et à assurer pleinement notre devoir et responsabilité partagée de bâtir une Afrique intégrée, résiliente et prospère. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, la CEDEAO occupe une place toute particulière dans l'histoire de l'intégration africaine. Depuis sa création, elle porte une ambition qui dépasse les frontières nationales, celle d'une Afrique de l'Ouest plus unie, plus prospère et plus à même de répondre collectivement aux attentes de ses peuples. Profondément convaincu de la pertinence de cette vision qui anime la CEDEAO, notre pays a engagé avec celle-ci un processus de négociation qui a abouti à un accord d'association que nous avons déjà ratifié. Cette vision centrée sur l'intégration que nous partageons avec la CEDEAO cadre parfaitement avec l'effort d'intégration continentale mis en œuvre par l'Union africaine dans le cadre de l'agenda 2063 à travers des projets et programmes phares comme la zone de libre-échange, des infrastructures de connectivité, la résilience climatique. Nos pays d'Afrique de l'Ouest non seulement contribuent activement à la réalisation de ces programmes et projets d'intégration continentale, mais développent aussi de nombreux cadres et initiatives visant à renforcer leur propre intégration sous-régionale et régionale, comme l'OMVS, l'OMVG, Organisation pour la mise en valeur du fleuve Sénégal et Organisation pour la mise en œuvre du fleuve Gambie, ou encore le WAP, Système d'échange d'énergie électrique ouest-africain, entre autres. Ces cadres et initiatives concourent tous à renforcer la résilience, à développer les infrastructures, à fluidifier les échanges et à asseoir les bases d'une véritable intégration. Cependant, cet effort d'intégration exige, pour son efficacité et sa durabilité, une coordination solide, fondée sur la confiance, sur la complémentarité et sur la solidarité agissante. En effet, L'intégration régionale ne se mesure pas seulement à la solidité de ses institutions et de ses cadres globaux, mais aussi, voire surtout, à la capacité de préserver dans la durée, dans la stabilité, la paix et la sécurité sans lesquelles il ne peut y avoir de développement et encore moins d'intégration. Il est donc nécessaire de mettre en synergie nos efforts pour mieux faire face collectivement au terrorisme, à la criminalité transfrontalière et aux conflits en tout genre, afin de garantir la paix, la stabilité et la sécurité, sans lesquelles la discorde et la dispersion prennent le pas sur l'intégration. Dans ce cadre, nous devons veiller à ce que les multiples processus, initiatives et structures régionales et si-régionales en lien avec la sécurité, par exemple le processus de Nouakchott, l'initiative d'Accra, le système d'alerte précoce de la CEDEAO et autres, renforcent leur coordination et coopèrent plus efficacement dans la complémentarité et dans le cadre d'une approche globale associant sécurité, développement, gouvernance et inclusion. Excellences, chers frères, face aux crises sécuritaires et aux vulnérabilités économiques multiples, nous avons un besoin urgent de paix, de stabilité et d'espace d'intégration. Nous en sommes convaincus en Mauritanie. Convaincus que le futur de l'intégration a la capacité à faire prévaloir le dialogue sur les divisions, la coopération sur
Let me express the appreciation of myself and the delegation. The warm hospitality we've received since we arrived here this morning in Lungi. I also want to congratulate President Maada Bio for this first-class international conference facility. That is hosting this summit of the ECOWAS. I can assure you, it's a beautiful facility and it's a solid. I also wish to commend ECOWAS on the commencement of the construction of the ultra-modern logistics center here in Lungi to support emergencies and crises and also the ECOWAS standby force. Let me also express my gratitude to President Bio for your recent visits to Accra, following the devastating floods that led to the loss of 39 lives of our compatriots, and your expression of sympathy during that visit. I also want to congratulate you for your chairmanship of ECOWAS during what has been a very eventful year, and to thank you for your leadership. In regard to the ECOWAS Compact regional integration that we are discussing today, I want to say the compact is built on 6 thematic areas, namely peace and security, sustainable economic transformation and regional prosperity, science, technology, innovation and digital transformation, youth, women, and future generations, institutional reforms, partnership and implementation mechanisms, ECOWAS geopolitical positioning, and strategic autonomy and democracy. There is no doubt that our eventual adoption and implementation of these 6 pillars and that this compact will unleash the potential benefits to our community's citizens. On regional security, peace is fundamental. On regional security, peace is fundamental to the development of our sub-region. And without development will remain an illusion. The same can be said about sustainable economic transformation and regional prosperity, which will ensure that the region finds its rightful place among the Committee of Nations. We need therefore to confront the emerging threats of regional insecurity, notably terrorism, violent extremism, through concerted and collaborative efforts. This calls for continuous collaboration between ECOWAS, the AU, and other AES states and other can hear me. Thank you. We must therefore continue to preserve channels of dialogue amongst all the countries of our sub-region, including the AES states. Geography has made us neighbors. History has made us partners. And our future requires that we remain one West African family. Differences may arise, but they should never diminish our shared commitment to peace, cooperation, and the long-term prosperity of our people. Again, you also agree with me that in this rapidly changing world, no nation can advance or be competitive in the current global world without investing in science and technology. This is intrinsically linked to digital transformation and innovation, with the contribution of AI to e-commerce business driven by smart learning and production. We must also commit to the reforms of our institution to be effectively placed for the efficient delivery of services to the benefit of our community citizens. As regards youth, women, and future generations in the evolving integration process, we will not be able to achieve our objectives of holistic development if we fail to involve them in national decision-making processes. On democracy and good governance, there is a need for tangible dividends in our democratic governance that delivers empowerment, accountability, social inclusion, efficient public services, employment, and other basic needs of our citizens. Our citizens are tired of only being called out to vote every 4 or 5 years. They want to see the benefits of democracy, and it behoves on us, the leaders, to make that happen. The future of ECOWAS cannot be built exclusively within conference rooms. It must be built in our classrooms, on our farms, on our factories, our research institutions, our innovation hubs, our marketplaces, and our communities. As we consider the ECOWAS Compact for the future of regional integration, we must also be honest with ourselves. Over the past 5 decades, ECOWAS has adopted important treaties, protocols, and decisions that have significantly advanced regional integration. And so there is a need, therefore, for the effective implementation of all our decisions. As we chart the future direction of our community, we shall also be called upon to take important decisions regarding the leadership of the ECOWAS Commission. The appointment of a new president, a vice president, and commissioners comes at a pivotal moment in the life of our community. Their responsibilities will extend beyond just institutional administration. They will be expected to guide the implementation of the Compact, deepen regional integration, strengthen public confidence in ECOWAS, and respond effectively to the political, security, and economic challenges confronting our region. But permit me also, after talking about this compact, to address a matter of immediate concern to Ghana, Nigeria, and indeed the whole of our continent. Ghana is deeply concerned about the recent incidents of xenophobic attacks against our citizens in South Africa. During which some Africans, including Ghanaians and Nigerian citizens, have lost their lives, while many other African nationals have experienced fear, intimidation, and uncertainty. Ghana welcomes the decision of the authority of heads of state of ECOWAS to fully endorse and support Ghana's petition at the African Union for the matter to be addressed at the next AU BDS summit. African liberation was achieved through solidarity across our borders, must never permit that proud legacy to be weakened by intolerance by a small group of people. As I conclude, let me pay tribute to the outgoing leadership of the ECOWAS Commission, including the President, the Vice President, the Commissioners, Directors, and staff, for their dedication, professionalism, and invaluable service to our community. Their efforts have contributed significantly to advancing our regional integration and strengthening the institution of ECOWAS, and it is my hope that the incoming management will work hard to build and consolidate on the gains made by their predecessors. I also commend the Council of Ministers for the commendable work undertaken over the past few days in preparing the important decisions and recommendations that have been put before us at this summit. Ghana remains steadfast in its commitment to the ideals of ECOWAS and stands ready to work with all other member states, the Commission and our partners to advance peace, prosperity, and integration in our sub-region. I thank you for the opportunity.
I thank the President of the Republic of Ghana for that statement, and I'll give the floor to the President of the Gambia. You have the floor, please.
And President of the Republic of Leone. Your Excellencies, colleagues here of state and government, President of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Umar Alim Toure, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to register our profound gratitude to Your Excellency, President Julius Maada Bio, and to the government and the people of Senegal for the warm hospitality and excellent arrangements made for these summits. I commend Your Excellency's leadership at this challenging time, and I thank the ECOWAS Commission for its delegation for peace, security, and integration. At the tenure of the current Commission President and his team draws applause, I convey heartfelt congratulations to Dr. Umar Ali Toure and his team on their delegation and a warm welcome the incoming President and the management team. I assure them of the Gambia's full support. Chairman, terrorism, violent extremism, organized crime, drug trafficking, irregular migration, and climate-related threats continue to test our resilience, particularly as terrorism expands from the Sahel towards coastal states. Demanding stronger regional solidarity and preventive action. We have progress made on national early warning and response centers and encourage timely use of early warning information in council issues, including climate security, cyber risk, and synthetic drugs. Humanitarian situation across West Africa and the Sahel also require urgent attention, as conflict, displacement, food insecurity, and declining humanitarian financing affect millions. The Gambia supports stronger regional humanitarian coordination and closer collaboration between humanitarian and development partners. Mr. Chairman, Your Excellency, credible elections remain fundamental to democratic legitimacy. We commend member states that conduct peaceful elections this year. We recognize ECOWAS electoral observer missions as vital instruments of preventive diplomacy deserving sustainable financing. As we prepare for presidential election on 5 December 2026, my government remains firmly committed to a peaceful, inclusive, transparent, and credible process as it welcomes a positive assessment of the joint ECOWAS aiming ECOWAS pre-election fact-finding mission. We remain equally committed to transnational justice and reconciliation through the TRRC recommendations. Progress made so far includes the reparations fund, the swearing in of the reparation commission, and the May 26th appointment and swearing in of the special prosecutor, whose office is now being set up to investigate and prosecute cases involving violations committed from 1994 to 2017. I thank ECOWAS and our partners for their support. And we also value ECOWAS' historic contribution to our peace and stability. Our discussion on this field continues. We emphasize a careful, coordinated, condition-based transition that will safeguard against achievement. Excellencies, we welcome the recognition or implementation of office and support the timely establishment of the ECOWAS Economic and Social Council to ensure our people's voices are better reflected in regional issues. Looking ahead, regional integration must yield tangible benefits for our citizens. Gambia welcomes the ECOWAS Compact for the future of regional integration and the vision of an ECOWAS of people for this require clear timelines, measurable targets, and strong member states policy. We also welcome the Lungi declaration, curriculum, the compact, and the fund, which will move from aspirations to implementation, leaving no one behind. Ultimately, the ECOWAS lies in moving from an ECOWAS of states to an ECOWAS of the people. Compact of the future, regional integration, and the Lungi declaration is the framework what remains in the commitment of implementing. We must set clear timelines, measurable targets, and honest accountability mechanisms so that these generations of leaders is judged not by the declaration design, but by the results that citizens can see and feel in their daily lives. Mr. Chairman, the challenges before us are complex, but history shows ECOWAS is stronger for the society. The Gambia remains committed to our ECOWAS institutions and member states, a peaceful, secure, democratic region. I thank you for your kindness.
I thank the President of the Gambia for that statement. And I'll give the floor to the President of Senegal.
Conférence des chefs d'État et de gouvernement, chers collègues, le président de la commission de la CEDEAO, mesdames, messieurs les ministres, mesdames, messieurs, nous avons pour remercier le président Maada Bio pour l'accueil convivial et la générosité avec lesquels nous avons été reçus à Pétan. Je voudrais ensuite féliciter le président Bio pour l'initiative de tenir cette rencontre sur l'avenir de la CEDEAO, à un moment où le futur de notre organisation questionne. Cette démarche fait suite au sommet extraordinaire d'Abuja en décembre 2025, pendant lequel le même point a été inscrit à ce jour. C'est l'occasion de saluer les contributions pertinentes des États membres sur la question, de féliciter également le président de la Commission, les chefs d'institution de la communauté, ainsi que l'ensemble de l'exécutif, pour leurs actions au quotidien en faveur de l'approfondissement des processus d'intégration au bénéfice de nos populations. Toutefois, des efforts et sacrifices supplémentaires sont nécessaires pour que dans les années à venir, nos populations puissent vivre dans une région apaisée, sûre et prospère. Mesdames, Messieurs, durant l'année écoulée, la CEDEAO a célébré le 50e anniversaire de sa création. 5 décennies de coopération régionale, d'intégration économique et de progrès collectif en Afrique de l'Ouest. Il est indéniable que durant ces demi-siècles, des avancées significatives ont été réalisées dans plusieurs domaines, contribuant ainsi au bien-être des populations. Il est tout aussi évident que les programmes de la CEDEAO ont impulsé une multiculturalisation et le développement économique du pays, au point d'ériger l'institution comme la communauté économique régionale la plus aboutie, la plus performante en Afrique. De nombreux acquis ont donc été enregistrés, mais il n'en demeure pas moins que d'immenses défis interpellent aujourd'hui notre organisation et pourraient même menacer sa survie. En 2025, 3 de nos membres fondateurs sont quittés. Cette fracture fragilise davantage notre région, déjà en proie à des difficultés de tous ordres. En effet, la situation sécuritaire dans la région du Sahel reste préoccupante. Elle fait poser une menace réelle sur tous nos États. Les groupes terroristes qui essaiment dans la zone ont clairement pour ambition de s'en prendre aux légitimités institutionnelles étatiques. En même temps, l'extrémisme violent, la cybercriminalité transfrontalière, la cybercriminalité et la criminalité transfrontalière organisée et les trafics illicites en tout genre constituent de véritables fléaux qui compromettent la sécurité et la stabilité de la région. Nos assises d'aujourd'hui se tiennent donc à un moment où les menaces sont plus nombreuses, plus pressantes, plus complexes et exacerbées par un contexte mondial défavorable. Alors, que devons-nous faire pour inverser la tendance? À mon avis, il faudra de larges consultations de toutes les forces vives de la région et des débats profonds sur les actions à mener pour instaurer une paix et une sécurité durable en Afrique de l'Ouest. Impulser un développement socio-économique inclusif afin d'offrir à nos populations une CEDEAO rénovée qui leur apporte prospérité et bien-être conformément à la vision des pères fondateurs. Tout en affirmant ici la détermination du Sénégal à œuvrer pour la mise en œuvre de la déclaration d'engagement sur l'avenir de l'intégration régionale que nous nous apprêtons à adopter. Je voudrais appeler aussi à l'implication de tous pour qu'elle ne soit pas une simple déclaration d'intention. Pour cela, nous devrions nous assurer que le pacte qui l'accompagne fasse l'objet de compromis dynamiques et d'une appropriation plus large afin d'éviter les incompréhensions pouvant entraver sa mise en œuvre. Nous projeter sur l'avenir nous commande de veiller à préserver l'unité et la solidarité au sein de la région. La concertation doit être permanente, les moyens mutualisés et les actions unies. Nous devons également affirmer avec vigueur notre attachement à nos principes et valeurs en matière de démocratie, d'état de droit et de bonne gouvernance, gage de la paix et de la stabilité au sein de la région. Il nous faut agir vite pour endiguer les différentes menaces sécuritaires, grâce notamment à l'opérationnalisation de la brigade régionale de la force natale et l'activation de la force régionale de lutte contre le terrorisme. La réalisation de cet objectif nécessite une plus grande autonomie financière, ce qui doit nous obliger à honorer nos engagements au titre du prélèvement communautaire. En outre, il faudra renforcer la gouvernance de nos institutions communautaires pour plus d'efficacité et d'efficience dans la réalisation des objectifs de la région. Il s'agira d'avoir des standards de fonctionnement plus efficients, mais surtout une architecture institutionnelle plus stable et mieux articulée à l'état d'avancement du processus d'intégration. Au-delà de ces urgences, notre action devrait être orientée vers la concrétisation des programmes communautaires dans les domaines de l'agriculture, de l'industrie, de l'énergie et des infrastructures, pour accélérer l'intégration économique et commerciale. Chers collègues, nous devons redonner de l'espoir à nos populations, en particulier la jeunesse, qui constitue l'avenir de notre communauté. Le seul moyen d'y parvenir est pour nous de réformer l'organisation et de respecter les textes que nous adoptons. Cela est même le fondement de la crédibilité de notre organisation. Je vous remercie de votre attention.
Thank the President of the Republic of Senegal for the statement, and now give the floor to the President of Cabo Verde.
Presidente da CDAO e Presidente da Leone, senhoras e senhores chefes de Estado e do Governo aqui presentes, minhas senhoras e meus senhores, queríamos em primeiro lugar felicitar o Presidente Bio pela sua liderança. Na verdade, temos entre mãos um documento extraordinariamente importante para o futuro da nossa organização, visando a sua transformação efetiva numa comunidade de povos. Cabo Verde dá todo o seu apoio a este pacto da CDAO para o futuro da integração regional. Consideramos muito importantes os pilares aprovados, desde a transformação económica sustentável e prosperidade regional, à questão da paz, segurança, estabilidade e governação democrática. Pensamos que o futuro da CDAO passa por uma forte aposta da inclusividade das nossas instituições económicas e políticas. Se apostarmos nas instituições, em programas sustentáveis de desenvolvimento, tendo no centro a dignidade da pessoa humana, estaremos a abrir caminho, não só para responder aos desafios da atualidade, mas também para responder aos anseios, às aspirações e aos sentimentos das novas gerações. Na verdade, o desenvolvimento de hoje também é uma aposta clara na paz, na segurança e na estabilidade da nossa região. Destaco também a forte aposta na autonomia estratégica da CDAO. Considerarmos o nosso posicionamento geopolítico nos tempos de hoje e afirmarmos a CDAO como um ator político relevante, não só na nossa região, mas também no nosso continente e no plano global. Há uma questão que eu gostaria de destacar, é a solidariedade intergeracional. Na verdade, o mundo de hoje está marcado pela imediaticidade das decisões e pelo curto-prazismo. A nossa comunidade deve, doravante, apostar claramente em políticas de médio e longo prazo, numa perspectiva visionária e estratégica, para responder aos desafios das novas gerações. Uma outra questão que eu gostaria de destacar refere-se ao artigo 68 do Tratado revisto. Na verdade, o Tratado propõe que os Estados encravados e os Estados insulares devem ter um tratamento especial. Os 3 Estados encravados, Mali, Burkina Faso e Níger, já deixaram a organização e constituíram a Aliança dos Estados do Sahel. Reafirmo aqui a importância que o Pacto dá à necessidade de um diálogo perene entre a nossa comunidade e a Aliança dos Estados do Sahel. É fundamental manter o diálogo e criar as condições para uma forte reaproximação da comunidade aos Estados da Aliança do Sahel. E é importante que esse diálogo se faça com base em compromissos sólidos que permitam gerar confiança de modo a prevenir qualquer outra fragmentação regional e buscar o caminho para, no futuro, conseguirmos reunir a família da nossa comunidade, os países fundadores da nossa comunidade. E aqui refirmo também a importância da presença da Mauritânia nesta cimeira. E termino dizendo que é importante que Cabo Verde seja considerado enquanto um caso especial no quadro da CDAO. Nós queremos fazer o nosso trabalho de casa. Queremos fazer um esforço para cumprir todos os nossos compromissos e garantir uma inserção competitiva de Cabo Verde no espaço da CDAO. É preciso também que a nossa comunidade se aproxime mais de Cabo Verde, que a nossa comunidade esteja mais presente em Cabo Verde e que os projetos da CDAO considerem Cabo Verde em toda a sua dimensão. Por isso, penso que devemos aprofundar os estudos de modo a efetivamente garantir um tratamento especial a Cabo Verde enquanto um pequeno Estado insular numa região periférica da CDAO e criarmos mecanismos que permitam, de uma forma efetiva, garantir essa inserção competitiva e permitir que os cabo-verdianos também sintam as vantagens de estar presente nesta comunidade. Muito obrigado, Sr. Presidente.
I thank the President of Cabo Verde for that intervention. There's a little announcement here from the Legal Directorate. They are going to circulate a declaration for commitment to the Compact of the Future and Regional Integration, and also the declaration on advancing gender parity in political representation in the ECOWAS region. That will be done concurrently as we try to bring this part of our meeting to an end. I now call and give the floor to the President of the Republic of Liberia. You have the floor, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Your Excellency, Julius Maada Bio, Chair of ECOWAS Authority, Your Excellency, as the State President of ECOWAS Commission, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to begin by expressing a sincere appreciation to my brother, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, government of the people of infrastructure. My delegation, my congregation, serving subgroup hosting both the summit of the future of regional integration in West Africa and the 69 organizations ECOWAS, Coalition of Heads of State and Government. These meetings come at a defining moment of our community as we shall hope was stronger and more united. Let me add that the facilities are exceptional. Thank you. As President concludes his tenure as chair of ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, Liberia commends him for his steadfast leadership and commitment to advancing regional dialogue, peace, and cooperation during a particularly consequential period for our community. Thank him for his service, wishing him continued success as he continues to champion the cause of regional integration. At the same time, we face review and our grand President of ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Juan and our grand Vice President of ECOWAS Commission, for their dedicated and exemplary service being one of the most challenging regions and communities. Thank Dr. Chua for his distinguished service and leadership in one of the most challenging periods. We particularly commend his efforts in steering the dialogue with Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger following their withdrawal from ECOWAS. While difficult decisions were made, Liberia remains hopeful that these sister nations will one day return to a unified ECOWAS continent. I also extend Liberia's warm congratulations to the Republic of Senegal the presidency of ECOWAS mission in the Federal Republic of Nigeria on assuming the seat of the Commission. Nigeria looks forward to working closely with them in advancing the ideas for which ECOWAS was founded. His Excellency, today ECOWAS stands at a crossroads. Our region faces evolving security threats, democratic challenges, economic pressures, climate change, and rising expectations from our young people. These realities require us to act with purpose as thing the institutions that bind us together. Nigeria therefore fully support the compact for the future of regional integration and recognizes the integration must move beyond aspiration for implementation. Our people must see the benefit of ECOWAS in their daily life, not only of full declarations adopted in conference halls, but through better peace, increased trade, more employment, improved infrastructure, and stronger economic resilience. These priorities align closely with Liberia's current agenda for inclusive development. In this regard, Liberia warmly welcomes the signing of the Intergovernmental Agreement establishing the African Atlantic Gas Pipeline. This is far more than energy project. It represents the transformative investment in our collective future, demonstrate what is possible when African nations choose cooperation over fragmentation. However, infrastructure alone does not unlock the full potential of our community. We must also remove barriers that continue to impede our free movement of goods and services and people. We should work to collectively eliminate unnecessary levies, reduce voluntary barriers, simplify border procedures, and create a truly integrated regional market. Just it. The citizens echo. Active member of the United Nations Security Council, as a newly elected member of the United Nations Security Council, Liberia remains committed to advancing the priorities of ECOWAS and Africa on the global stage. We will continue to champion peace, preventive democracy, diplomacy, constitutional governance, conflict resolution, and sustainable development as essential foundation for regional stability. Liberia appreciates the significant progress made thus far in addressing the border situation with our brothers and sisters in neighboring Guinea. We welcome the spirit of dialogue, cooperation, and mutual respect that guided the process and remain optimistic that these efforts, with the support of ECOWAS Commission, will soon lead to a final, peaceful, and mutually acceptable resolution. Allow me to express Nigeria's profound gratitude to all member states for the confidence they have continued to place in our country through the recent appointment of qualified Nigerians to key ECOWAS institutions. We accept the confidence, with unity, and reaffirm Liberia's plan to serve our community with integrity, professionalism, and dedication. Excellencies, our founders, the vision and ECOWAS build on solidarity, shared prosperity, and collective security. That vision remains relevant today as it was 50 years ago. The future of West Africa will not be determined by the challenges we face, but by the courage with which we respond to them. Let us therefore see the moment to strengthen our community, deepen our unity, and build an Africa that is more resilient, more prosperous, and more responsive to the aspirations of our people. I also want to join my brother, John Mahama, for strongly denouncing the xenophobia of South Africa. Together, let us ensure that the future generations inherit another divided region that is stronger, more integrated, and more peaceful West Africa, and a united Africa. Thank you, and God bless you.
I thank the President of the Republic of Nigeria for that statement, and I'll give the floor to His Excellency the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You have the floor, please.
President Julius Maada Bio, Excellencies and dear colleagues, State of State and Government, Excellency the President of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Omar Ali Toure, distinguished special guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the government and the good people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I wish to convey my profound appreciation to Her Excellency President Julius Maada Bio, the government and the people of the Republic of Sierra Leone, for the warm hospitality extended to me and my delegation since our arrival, and for the excellent arrangements put in place for the successful convening of this 66th ordinary session of our authority here in the Republic of Sierra Leone. I also wish to congratulate Your Excellency on the successful commissioning of the Julius Maada Bio International Conference Center, which stands as both a remarkable national achievement for the people of Sierra Leone and a lasting contribution to regional diplomacy. It is particularly that this nation of our country is the best international gathering to be held in this facility. I am confident that this center will serve as an enduring platform for consensus building and collective action in advancing peace, regional integration, and sustainable development across our community. Your Excellencies, I wish to commend the ECOWAS Commission, as well as all the relevant stakeholders for the successful development of the ECOWAS Compact for the future of regional integration. This forward-looking document reflects the collective aspirations of the peoples of West Africa. It further demonstrates the Commission's strategic foresight in articulating a practical roadmap that responds to contemporary regional realities while remaining anchored in the founding principles of our community. Nigeria reaffirms its unwavering commitment to the compact, which represents a significant milestone in our regional integration journey. It reflects the collective resolve of our member states to renew the ideals of ECOWAS, strengthen regional solidarity, and build a more resilient, peaceful and people-centered community, capable of meeting the aspirations of its over 400 million citizens. The compact is fully aligned with the aspirations of ECOWAS Vision 2050 and provides a practical,
framework for advancing a more inclusive and integrated community. Furthermore, it reinforces our shared commitment to building trust between citizens and public institutions, ensuring that regional integration remains resilient and relevant in the face of evolving geopolitical realities. By extending our collective vision towards 2075, we further advance our resolve to transit from an ECOWAS of states to an ECOWAS of Africa. As the largest economy and one of the key founding members of the regional economic community, Nigeria remains steadfast in its historic responsibility to continue the promotion of regional unity, peace, economic integration, and democratic governance. Nigeria will continue to work closely with member states and all stakeholders to ensure the effective implementation of the compact and the realization of its strategies. Sustainable regional prosperity requires deeper economic integration, expanded trade, industrialization, tourism, investment in regional value chains, improved infrastructure connectivity, and strengthened security. Nigeria therefore welcomes the compact's ambition to expand intra-regional trade, enhance industrial competitiveness, support the gradual implementation of the ECO single currency, and accelerate the creation of an integrated regional economy capable of competing effectively in the global marketplace. Nigeria remains committed to initiatives that remove trade barriers, improve cross-border infrastructure, facilitate the free movement of persons, goods, and services, and build an enabling environment for businesses, entrepreneurs, and investors to thrive across West Africa. On peace, security, and democratic governance, Nigeria reaffirms that sustainable development cannot be achieved in an environment of peace, security, and instability. Nigeria remains firmly committed to the principles enshrined in the ECOWAS Protocol on democracy and good governance and other regional frameworks. Nigeria supports the Compact's commitment to constitutional governance, the rule of law, respect for human rights, and zero tolerance for unconstitutional changes of government. And to add that beyond that maturity, the most effective tool against unconstitutional changes of government and mass protests that is capable of undermining good order is also employing good governance that delivers more tangible benefits to our citizens. We must also avoid the temptation to tamper with the constitutional term limits or exploit constitutional process. Also, Nigeria remains committed to the setting up of the counter-terrorism force and strengthening of the ECOWAS standby force in order to enhance counter-terrorism cooperation, intelligence sharing, joint security operations, and preventive diplomacy to safeguard peace and stability across our region. While recognizing the central role of technology in shaping the future of nations, Nigeria welcomes the compact emphasis on science, technology, innovation, and digital transformation. Establishment of a digital single market, regional frameworks on artificial intelligence, cybersecurity cooperation, digital infrastructure, and innovation ecosystems will unlock new opportunities for economic diversification, entrepreneurship, education, financial inclusion, and job creation, particularly for young people, while accelerating inclusive growth and positioning West Africa as a competitive player in the global digital economy. Nigeria remains the compact's strong focus on empowering women and youth, who represent the greatest human resource management of our region. Nigeria remains dedicated to advancing gender equality, expanding opportunities for women in leadership and decision-making, investing in education and skills development, supporting youth entrepreneurship, and ensuring that young people are active participants in shaping the future of West Africa. On institutional reforms, Nigeria wishes to underscore that strong ECOWAS institutions, supported by sustainable financing, transparency, accountability, efficiency, and merit-based governance are essential to restoring public confidence and ensuring that the community delivers tangible benefits to its citizens. We must therefore remain focused on strengthening our institutions, improving implementation capacity, and translating regional decisions into measurable outcomes that positively impact the lives of our people. Nigeria recognizes the evolving global geopolitical landscape and the complex region of ECOWAS as a more cohesive, influential, and strategically autonomous regional actor. In an increasingly multipolar world, West Africa must speak with one voice, advancing its collective interests, safeguarding its sovereignty and building partnerships anchored on mutual respect, equality, and shared prosperity. We acknowledge that recent developments have tested the cohesion and resilience of our community. Nigeria remains firmly committed to dialogue, solidarity, and constructive engagement, especially with the AES nation, as the foundation for preserving the unity, relevance, and future of ECOWAS. We must renew our collective determination to strengthen regional integration and ensure that our community remains responsive to the aspirations and needs of others. On homophobic attacks in South Africa, I wish to join Ghana in strongly condemning the homophobic attacks on the citizens and other fellow Africans in the Republic of South Africa. It's already mentioned by His Excellency the President of Ghana. ECOWAS will present this matter before the next meeting of the Authority of African Union to send a clear message that this type of intolerance is unacceptable. South Africa should be reminded, while we claim the fact of moderation, South Africa needs to be reminded that the freedom the country currently enjoys is due to the liberation efforts of African countries. From our scholarship allowances to fund liberation movement in Southern Africa. They should not be working while their problem lies. Their problem does not lie with fellow Africans who are here to stay their state. Nigerian government has evacuated our citizens in 7 batches and is prepared to engage more on this matter. Finally, I hereby call upon member states, regional institutions, the private sector, civil society, development partners, women and young people to support the effective implementation of the ECOWAS Compact for the future of regional integration. The Compact provides a roadmap to strengthen regional unity, restore public trust, and build a more resilient and people-centered ECOWAS capable of effectively addressing current and future challenges. Through unity of purpose, regional leadership, and sustained cooperation, we can build a stronger community that delivers lasting peace, security, prosperity, and sustainable development for all the people of West Africa. Finally, Your Excellency, on a lighter note, I'd like to add his voice on ground. Do not allow him to leave this country without extracting a commitment to establish a strong government. African Union.
I thank the Honorable Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for that statement, and I now give the floor to the Vice President of Cote d'Ivoire. Before you comment, my dear brother, the next round of documents to be signed is the intergovernmental agreement concerning African Atlantic Gas Pipeline and the supplementary act on the protection of personal data. That is actually the final.
Président de la République de Sierra Leone, président en exercice de la Conférence, Excellences, Messieurs les chefs du gouvernement de la Sierra Leone, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs les représentants de chefs d'État et de gouvernement de la CEDEAO, Monsieur le Président de la Commission de la CEDEAO, Madame des Nations Unies, Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres, distingués participants, Mesdames et Messieurs, c'est un honneur tout particulier pour moi de prendre la parole au nom de son Excellence M. Alassane Ouattara, Président de la République de Côte d'Ivoire, qui m'a chargé de vous transmettre ses salutations les plus fraternelles et ses regrets de ne pouvoir être parmi vous aujourd'hui. Je forme des vœux ardents pour que ce sommet sur l'avenir de notre institution régionale marque un tournant historique dans la marche de notre communauté vers la prospérité. Je voudrais également exprimer notre profonde gratitude à notre pote, son Excellence M. Julius Maada Bio, dont l'engagement contribue à maintenir notre organisation mobilisée autour des défis de notre temps et des aspirations de nos peuples. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, nous sommes réunis ici 61 ans après le traité de Leone pour adopter un pacte qui apparaît comme la traduction politique et stratégique de notre engagement collectif en faveur de l'intégration des États. La Côte d'Ivoire adhère pleinement à la philosophie de ce pacte qui s'aligne sur la vision 2050 d'une CEDEAO des peuples, une CEDEAO de paix et de prospérité pour tous. Par ma voix, la Côte d'Ivoire réaffirme son engagement solennel à œuvrer pour un avenir meilleur de notre sous-région à travers les orientations stratégiques de ce plan, à savoir la paix et la sécurité avec un accent sur la lutte contre le terrorisme qui menace la stabilité de nos États et compromet le plein potentiel de développement de notre pays. La transformation économique avec la réalisation effective du marché commun de la mise en œuvre dès 2027 de l'ECO, la monnaie tenant en compte les pays qui seront prêts à cette prend en charge la révolution numérique, ainsi que l'inclusion sociale avec des orientations ambitieuses vers l'autorisation des femmes, la valorisation des compétences et le renforcement des structures de santé comme l'Organisation ouest-africaine de la santé. Prend en charge aussi l'autonomie stratégique de notre communauté face à la multipolarité croissante du monde. Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, tout en saluant avec force les orientations majeures de ce pacte, il est important de faire observer qu'il va être financièrement soutenable. Hélas, nous ne pouvons ignorer le fossé entre ces notre chantier et nos capacités à faire notre. En effet, le pacte prévoit de nombreuses opérations d'envergure, telles que le Centre régional de coordination de la cybersécurité, ou encore l'Institut de politique régionale dont les comptes globaux n'ont pas encore été précisément chiffrés. De même, l'objectif d'un autofinancement à 100% est une vente par le gouvernement communautaire souhaite à la réalité des activités de sécurité. Il est évident que la classe communautaire, même reversée à l'intégralité de son potentiel, ne saurait suffire pour la seule progression de l'ensemble des ambitions de ce pays. On va mourir fortement de la question cruciale de la combinaison des ressources financières de ce pacte fasse l'objet d'une réflexion approfondie, rigoureuse et exhaustive. Dans cette perspective, l'impératif de la Commission de la CEDEAO reste un plan de financement principal et que les projets à financer soient financés par ordre de priorité en fonction de leur impact immédiat sur le bien-être des populations et sur l'urgence des régionaux. Monsieur le Président de la Conférence, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, le chef d'État et le gouvernement, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, ce pacte ne devrait pas être un simple catalogue, mais un contrat de performance et de responsabilité commune dans la mise en œuvre, dont la mise en œuvre devra se faire avec diligence et efficacité. C'est en liant nos ambitions politiques à un réalisme budgétaire strict, le président qui se parle de moteur de transformation culturelle de la démocratie. La Côte d'Ivoire, à l'entreprise de son président de la République, son Excellence Monsieur Alassane Ouattara, adhère au pacte avec l'ardent espoir qu'il constituera un véritable instrument pour la transformation structurelle des pays de la cité. Je vous remercie.
I thank the Honorable Vice President of Cote d'Ivoire for that statement, and now invite the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations. You have the floor, please.
Your Excellency Julius Maada Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone and Chairperson of ECOWAS, Authority Heads of State and Government, Excellency Heads of State and Government of ECOWAS Member States, Her Excellency First Lady of the Republic of Leone, Fatima Maada Bio, Your Excellency Dr. Omar Ali Toure, the President of the ECOWAS Commission, Her Excellency Mrs. Tatienne Chichikwika, Vice President of the Commission. Special guests are Chair of the ECOWAS Business Council, Hajj CON, former President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency Anis Roman, Your Excellency the President of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, His Excellency Honorable President. It is a pleasure, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to be here today. Your Excellency President Bio, thank you for your leadership of ECOWAS. At a moment when this community has been severely tested, and you have chosen the harder path, keeping the doors open and working to hold the region together. My brother President Toure, you and your team have kept ECOWAS moving through a period of extraordinary strain. You have protected the institution while continuing to press it to deliver for the people it serves. This summit on the future and the regional pact illustrates this best. Congratulations. Your Excellency, Vice President, my sister, thank you for the leadership you continue to bring to the women of this region and the wider sustainable development agenda. And I'd like to congratulate ECOWAS leadership on the signing of the Presidential Declaration on Advancing Gender Parity and Political Representation in ECOWAS states. For our part, the United Nations is grateful for its close partnership with ECOWAS, carried forward every day through the leadership of the Special Representative to the Secretary General, Leonardo Santos Dumont, UNOWAS, and our teams across the region. Excellency, this summit comes at a decisive moment for the region. African-led solutions are beginning to come to the fore under the leadership of the African Union and the chair of the AU Commission, His Excellency Mahmoud Ali Yusuf. So this is an opportunity. It also places an immense responsibility on the shoulders of every leader in this room. This is a moment of conviction about what Africa must secure for itself and what it must demand from the world. Excellencies, let me emphasize la paix et la position de toute la haute ambition que nous portons pour l'avenir de la paix. Le tel les amène n'est jamais été aussi heureux. Pour le Sahel, pour l'État côtier, pour les réfugiés et l'agenda 2063. Les menaces terroristes s'étendent aujourd'hui du Sahel vers l'État côtier du Golfe du Nord, à compte de la région et de l'Afrique. Let me offer three reflections. The first, the solutions must be led by Africa, under the leadership of the African Union, and shaped by the countries of this region. Therefore, we salute and support all initiatives of ECOWAS and countries in the West African region and the Sahel are taking to work together to fight and defeat terrorism. The international community has an obligation to support these solutions in the way the region asks to be supported. Not to impose answers from the outside, nor to substitute its judgment for African leadership, but but they should bring political, financial, and security support necessary to implement African decisions. The UN Security Council must clearly hear the voice of Africa and stand behind the solutions Africa is proposing. Excellency, no one hands the people their future. And Baikamz, the intellectual and revolutionary, said to the West, no matter how hot the water from your well, it will not cook your rice. Support of the outside actors can warm the pot, but only Africa can make the meal. We have seen what it looks like in this region. There is new momentum for dialogue across political divides and across geography. Countries of the Central Sahel and the coast are showing greater readiness to rebuild trust, reopen channels of communication, and cooperate in practical ways through initiatives and continent, and find their anchor in the African Union. The appointment of Dr. Kouyaté, former Prime Minister of Guinea, former Executive Secretary of this very community, as ECOWAS chief negotiator of the Alliance of Sahel States, is one encouraging step. It is also welcoming to see the recent engagements by the AU Commission chairperson to rebuild engagement with the AES states through solidarity and cooperation on security, regional challenges, rather than isolation. Every door we open is hope for the peoples of this region, and I commend all who work to reopen it in this room and beyond. Second reflection, peace cannot last without strong economic development. A young person with a trade and a future has little reason to pick up a gun. That is what Agenda 2063 asks of us. A prosperous Africa, built on inclusive growth and sustainable development. Prosperity the agenda itself recognizes as a precondition for peace. Yet the global financial architecture does not support Africa's ambitions. And that is why this region must put its full weight behind the African Development Bank and its leadership in the new African financial architecture, coordination among African financial institutions, and the unlocking of $4 trillion in African savings held in pension and sovereign wealth funds. The continental free trade area can only deliver with the infrastructure to match, including roads, ports, energy grids, harmonized standards, and predictable regulation. Those grids should carry power generated in Africa. The green industrial revolution is within our reach, a surge of solar and wind projects, expanding networks, and the storage to hold what we generate, for a green and blue economy and climate action. Africa holds the building blocks of that revolution. The demand for critical minerals is set to more than double by 2040, and this continent has them in abundance. Excellencies, the private sector will be an essential partner to the realization of our vision. We welcome the inclusion of the Business Council and its chair, as a platform for investments that are meaningful. This is a generational opportunity, and it will not wait. The value must be created here and retained here. Equitable agreements, processing and refining on African soil, revenues that build inclusive and sustainable African economies. It must be an intergenerational dialogue. Young people must be at the center of shaping that narrative for the future. Excellencies, artificial intelligence is becoming part of the infrastructure of every economy. As decisive as the ports and power grids that I just mentioned, Africa needs to generate its share, the computing power, the data, and the skills for our young people to build these tools and to prosper by them. Third reflection, Africa must define its place in the world before others define it for us. We must not limit ourselves to being recipients on the international stage. We are also shapers. Under our watch, both the 2030 Agenda and the Pact for the Future were agreed. And you have taken that ambition even further by taking the Pact's principles and complemented them with a compact of its own for West Africa, by West Africa, focused on implementation. Africa should bring that same confidence into every room where the future is decided. African countries must leverage platforms to strengthen its position and consolidate the continent's narrative and voice in the international arena. African members of the Security Council must speak with one voice on peace and security. The African Union and ECOWAS must set the political direction before decisions are taken elsewhere. Our strength on the global stage must be built from the inside out. When national institutions and democracies answer to their people and earn their trust when they deliver, leaders speak for nations that stand behind them. That is the social contract, and it must be strengthened, as it was this year in the peaceful elections across our region. We should also define democracy and governance on our own terms, drawing more boldly on our own values and traditions, and by showing that our democracies are no less committed to human rights than any other region. They are in our constitutions, they are in our laws, and Africa must be seen to deliver them into the lives of every African on the continent. Africa must also show the world that we have something to bring to that debate. Excellencies, these three convictions I detailed could ask for no better delivery vehicle than ECOWAS, the Down. The reforms renewing this commission mean that every decision this authority takes is tracked until it's delivered, and every account is kept to the standards the world can verify by people held in a high standard of conduct. Reforming an institution while it weathers its hardest test takes courage. This commission has shown it. Peace will ask the same courage of everyone in this room. Silencing the guns across Africa begins here, in West Africa. We meet on land that proves it can be done. Sierra Leone knew war and chose peace and built on it. What one nation did, the region can do. What this region does, the continent will follow. The United Nations will continue to accompany West Africa and the entire continent. I thank you.
Thank the Deputy Secretary General for that statement. And I now invite our Chairman for the ECOWAS Business Council, Tani Koda.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, President Julius Maada Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone and Chairman of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of ECOWAS, Your Excellency, the Heads of State and Government, the President of the ECOWAS Commission, Honorable Ministers, His Excellency, former President of Sierra Leone, the Deputy Secretary General, my sister Amina Mohammed, GCON, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to stand on the very established protocol. It is with profound honor that I address this 69th ordinary session of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of ECOWAS, both as a special guest and as Chairman of the ECOWAS Business Council. Sincerely, thank His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio, the government and people of Sierra Leone for the warm hospitality extended to us and also for hosting this August gathering. The summit comes at a decisive moment, given that ECOWAS has completed 50 years of existence. We are therefore not only commemorating the past, we are being called upon to make fundamental choices about the future. The official themes of these meetings, one region, one mission, and one future, captures the aspiration that has guided ECOWAS since the Treaty of Lagos was signed in 1975. The question before us, whether we are prepared to translate that aspiration into daily economic, political, social reality of our citizens. The future of ECOWAS will be secured by what our people can see, experience, and believe. Safer communities, functioning borders, affordable food, reliable energy, productive employment, accountable government, and reliable infrastructure and genuine freedom to trade, invest, live, and work across our region. Your Excellencies, 50 years is long enough for reflection, but even more importantly, it is time for renewal. The question before us is no longer whether ECOWAS remains relevant. It does. The real question is whether ECOWAS is moving fast enough to meet the expectations of the nearly 460 million West Africans, most of whom are young, ambitious, and increasingly impatient for opportunity. As someone who has actually invested across Africa over 4 decades, allow me to respectfully share one conviction: the future of ECOWAS will not be determined by the number of protocols we sign. It will be determined by the number of opportunities we create for our people, and that, in my view, is the challenge before us. Our region possesses virtually everything required for prosperity. We have abundant energy resources, fertile agricultural land, strategic minerals, one of the world's youngest population, and an entrepreneurial spirit that is second to none. The regional economy continues to show resilience, with growth projected at about 5% this year. Yet millions of our young people remain unemployed. Food insecurity continues to affect far too many families. Manufacturing remains limited, and despite 5 decades of integration, trade among ECOWAS countries still represents only a small fraction of our total trade with the rest of the world. This tells us one important truth: economic growth is not the same as economic transformation. The transformation occurs when we process what we produce, we manufacture what we consume, trade more with one another, and create productive jobs for our people. That is the journey ECOWAS must now accelerate going forward. Your Excellencies, allow me to respectfully share some of the facts that I believe should shape the next chapter of our community. Our citizens will judge ECOWAS by real and practical results, which they will measure by whether they can cross borders without unnecessary delays, whether businesses can trade freely, whether electricity is available, whether food is affordable, and whether young people can find decent jobs. If regional integration does not improve everyday's life, public confidence will inevitably diminish. There can be no lasting prosperity without good governance, peace, and political stability. Military intervention may not be the sustainable path to development, but democratic governance must also continuously earn the confidence of citizens. Strong institutions, credible elections, respect for the rule of law, and accountable leadership remain the strongest sustainable economic development. Political stability is not simply a political objective, it is an economic asset. Investors invest, institutions are trusted. Businesses expand where policies are predictable, and jobs are created where confidence exists. West Africa must move from exporting raw materials to exporting value for exporting value. For decades, Africa has exported crude oil, minerals, and agricultural commodities, multi-finished products at many times the value. This singular act is responsible for exporting our jobs out from our continent, and also importing poverty into our continent. we must learn how to create jobs and also have prosperity. No region has ever become prosperous through that economic model. The future belongs to the region that manufacture, that process their own resources, that develop regional value chains and build industries. Industrialization is the surest path to large-scale employment, technological investment, and shared prosperity. Certainly, government cannot build this future alone. The private sector must become a strategic development partner. While governments create the enabling environment, businesses will create investment, industries, innovation, and ultimately jobs and prosperity. There is no way government can actually create or bring prosperity without partnering with the private sector. The establishment of the ECOWAS Business Council reflects this new thinking, and I assure Your Excellency that the Council will be action-oriented. We intend to serve as a practical bridge between government and the productive private sector, helping identify obstacles, investment, promoting regional value chains, and supporting the passive movement, given that ECOWAS, so that our ECOWAS has completed 50 years of existence. We therefore not only commemorating the past, we are being called upon to make fundamental choices about the future. The official theme Your Excellencies, I may respectfully suggest some priorities for the future. What I want to say here is that I would like to have the partnership of Your Excellencies so that we in the private sector will partner with you to create jobs and create prosperity. Like I said earlier, history will not judge us history will not judge us by other things, but only whether a young entrepreneur in Kano can easily sell goods to the car, whether a manufacturer in Ghana can source raw materials from Guinea without unnecessary barriers, whether a farmer in Sierra Leone can access regional markets, and whether an investor West Africa not a 12 or 15 separate economies, but as one integrated market and almost for 500 million people. That is the report our citizens deserve, and as chairman of the ECOWAS Business Council, I pledge the full commitment of the organized private sector to work alongside governments to help make this vision a reality. ECOWAS will be built on our factories, organized banks, functional classrooms, and the millions of hard-working West Africans whose aspirations should remain at the center of every decision we make. Let us therefore make the next 50 years an era of which West Africa finally fulfills its extraordinary promise. What I would say is that my Vice President actually challenged me that I should do something at We have 10,000 megawatts that we would like to do within the ECOWAS countries, and any country has interest, we are ready to match them with you and take them out. Please, I would like our leaders here to take that first opportunity. We want to make sure that our $46 billion investment between now and 2030, the majority of it should be in West Africa. I would like to thank you for your attention. May God bless our heads of states and governments. May God bless ECOWAS and its people. Thank you so much for listening.
very much, Alaji Kaliku Dangote. My appreciation is in. Minister of Energy, take note. Tomorrow, the action paper, the hard copy of our application should be made. By my colleagues, we are not going to let him off that road. We are going to apply and get some power. Thank you very much, Aligo. Now I give the floor to the African Development Bank.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Heads of State and Government of the ECOWAS member countries, Your Excellency, Dr. Umar Al-Kuri, President of the ECOWAS Commission, Your Excellency, Dr. Baikamz First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Your Excellency, Amina Mohamed, UN Deputy Secretary General, Your Excellency, the former President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Excellencies, Vice Presidents, they are present, honorable ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. I bring to you very warm greetings from the President of the African Development Group, who could not make it today with us here and has designated me to deliver this speech on his behalf. And I quote, let me start by expressing deep appreciation for the warm welcome extended to the African Development Group for the excellent organization of this summit. As ECOWAS recently celebrated its 50th anniversary, we continue to reflect on more than an institution. We celebrated 5 decades of collective vision in West Africa united by solidarity, connected by opportunity, and driven by the shared ambition for prosperity. I wish to commend the leadership of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government under the chairmanship of His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio, as well as the ECOWAS Commission under the leadership of His Excellency President Umar Al-Kuri. Through both of your leadership, ECOWAS continues to advance peace, stability, free movement, trade, regional integration across West Africa. I also commend His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio for bringing to the fore integration through the upcoming West African Integration and Investment Summit, an initiative that the African Development Bank supports. Since assuming office as President of the African Development Bank Group, I have engaged extensively with heads of state, with ministers, shareholders, board members, staff, investors, entrepreneurs, young Africans, and development partners. All across these conversations, one message consistently emerging: Africa's ambitions are growing faster than the financial architecture available to support them. Our continent now requires institutions capable of mobilizing larger volumes of capital at scale, forces from the partnerships, acting with greater speed, and with imaging development finance for a new era. Yet this challenge presents an opportunity. Africa accounts for nearly 80% of the world But global capital remains limited to global GDP and wealth, even global trade. The central question before us therefore is no longer whether Africa has resources or potential. The question is whether we can translate those assets into productive investments, industrial capacity, jobs, value addition, and greater influence in the global economy. This is why this summit is so crucial. It comes at a time of geopolitical realignment, persistent supply chain disruption, growing inflation, and a more expensive global financial environment. Africa's resilience will increasingly depend on its capacity to act collectively, mobilize its resources, and accelerate regional integration. The African Development Bank, your bank, Your Excellency, views regional integration not only as an aspiration but as a necessity. Integrated markets reduce costs, expand opportunities, increase competitiveness, create jobs and scale. To unlock these gains, we must invest in trade and infrastructure, industrial development, energy systems, logistics networks, digital connectivity, strong institutions, and the skills that empower women and young people to thrive across borders. This vision is reflected in the African Development Bank's new 4 cardinal points, which are the strategic focus of the bank: mobilizing capital at scale, unlocking Africa's capital power, turning our demographic dynamism into a dividend, particularly for women and young people, and accelerating investment in resilient infrastructure, industrialization, and value chains that will take a greater share of wealth given to Africa. To advance this objective, the Bank's African member countries adopted the new African Financial Architecture for Development, or the NAFTA. This initiative is about making better use of the institutions that we already have, mobilizing domestic savings, in capital markets, reducing perceived investment risk, and transforming Africa's abundant liquidity into productive investment. We will get this through applying principles of subsidiarity, complementarity, consolidation, and sustainability. For ECOWAS, NAFTA offers a practical pathway to financing returns and mission. It seeks to mobilize West African savings, strengthen regional financial institutions, deepen capital markets, reduce investment risk, and channel long-term financing into infrastructure, industries, and enterprises that underpin regional integration. NAFTA is therefore not merely a financial initiative. It is an effective architecture for transforming the ECOWAS to an engine of shared prosperity. At a time when ECOWAS is pursuing deeper economic integration, NAFTA can provide the financial backbone needed to realize this vision. Regional integration cannot be achieved through policy harmonization alone. It requires long-term capital to finance transport corridors, power pools, logistics platforms, digital connectivity, industrial clusters, and cross-border value chains. NAFTA seeks to enable exactly that transformation. The African Development Bank is already making a substantial investment across the West Africa sub-region. Our active multinational portfolio stands at about $3.72 billion, supporting initiatives in food production, in energy, and transport. And of course, when we add national operations, that figure goes close to $20 billion for the region as a whole. These investments in Gambia corridor. It includes the Senegal-Mauritania-Rosso Bridge, the Côte d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, CLNG, electricity transmission, and of course the Côte d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea interconnection project is a powerful example of what regional cooperation can achieve. Spanning over 1,300 kilometers of high-voltage transmission line and connecting 4 national power systems, the project received nearly 40% of its financing from the African Development Bank. The next challenge before us is scale. The ambitious $15.6 billion Abidjan-Lagos corridor represents far more than a transport project. Stretching over 1,000 kilometers and linking 5 economies technologies in new fields of regional competitiveness, integrating transport, energy, trade facilitation, logistics, and digital systems. The bank is also advancing preparation of the first phase of the very banking, road rehabilitation, and transport facilitation program. We are also preparing the Praia Dakar Maritime Corridor project, for which studies are ongoing. In today's rapidly changing world, competitiveness depends on our ability to unlock finance, reduce risk, build institutions that deliver at speed and scale. This is why the vision of the ECOWAS Common Market and NAFTA must across one expands markets and opportunities. The other is NAFTA mobilizes the capital required to transform opportunity into tangible prosperity. For ECOWAS, the success of NAFTA will ultimately not be measured by volume of capital mobilized alone, but by opportunities created. The objective is to finance enterprises that employ young people, expand opportunities for women entrepreneurs, strengthen agricultural value chains, and support the next generation of West African people. I invite you all, Excellencies, to embrace this agenda with ambition and determination. West Africa possesses extraordinary human capital, abundant natural resources, entrepreneurial energy, and immense revenue potential. So the task before us is simple, though not easy. To grow that potential, investment, industry, jobs, and jobs, shared prosperity. If the ECOWAS Common Market represents it, then the African initiative represents the financial market to bring it to life.
As you conclude,
As I conclude, once again, thank Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, for hosting this great initiative, and to also thank the President of the ECOWAS, Dr. Ali Ahmed Toure, for advancing the partnership with ECOWAS and the African Development Bank, and for the outstanding contribution to our region.
thank you very much. That's a great partner, the African Development Bank. And now I recognize the presence of our private sector friends from Morocco, African Atlantic Gas Pipeline. Give them a round of applause. They are doing more big project for us, and we have already signed that agreement, and so don't be surprised when you guys comes to for the final, this concludes our this section of the conference, and now we're now going to go into the ordinary session, and we have a few items. If Your Excellencies are willing to endure a bit more, then we can just go through this very quickly so that I can let you know and fly. View. Silence is a view. Thank you. Let's continue. Okay, I will now call on the interim report on the state of the community, and that will be presented by Dr. Umar.
Là, 4000 abonnés.
All right. Your Excellencies, I will now invite all of us to go for the close of where we will finalize some of the critical issues that we discussed earlier, and then we will come back here for the final session, the closing session. Thank you very much. Protocols take over.